Commander Zixtal of the Hegemony Defense Fleet studied the readouts with growing unease. The human prisoners should have broken by now. 3 standard cycles of their most advanced psychological conditioning protocols, and yet the bipedal mammals showed no signs of mental deterioration. Status report. Zixtal clicked to his subordinate Lieutenant Kresh. Sir, the humans continue to adapt. Subject Alpha has organized the others into what they call formation drills. They march in perfect synchronization despite the random gravitational fluctuations we've been subjecting them to. Zixtal's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. The gravity torture chamber was designed to disorient prisoners by constantly shifting between 0.3 and 2.8 standard gravities. Most species would be catatonic within hours, their inner ears destroyed, and their spatial reasoning permanently damaged. And the sleep deprivation protocol? They've established something called a watch rotation, sir. One human stays alert while the others rest, then they switch. They seem to view it as routine. This was impossible. The hegemony had conquered 14 star systems using these exact techniques. Break the mind and the body would follow. Yet these humans treated their most sophisticated torture methods like some kind of training exercise. Initiate Phase 4, Zixtal decided. Sensory bombardment with hostile vocalization patterns. In the detention chamber, Staff Sergeant Maria Santos felt the familiar vibration in the walls that meant the aliens were about to try something new. She'd been captured during the Battle of Europa Station along with 12 other soldiers from various Earth militaries. What the aliens didn't realize was that they'd grabbed some of the most experienced veterans humanity had to offer. The lights began strobing in chaotic patterns while ear-splitting sounds blasted from hidden speakers. Santos recognized the technique immediately, sensory overload designed to induce panic and confusion. She'd experienced similar training in SEER school, though the Air Force version had been considerably more creative. "Attention!" she barked, her voice cutting through the cacophony. The other prisoners immediately snapped to attention. "This is just another day at the office, people. Rodriguez, start us off." Corporal Rodriguez began belting out a cadence, his voice strong and clear despite the alien noise. "I don't know, but I've been told. I don't know, but I've been told." The others responded, "Alien torture's getting old. Alien torture's getting old." Within minutes, they'd turned the psychological warfare into an impromptu PT session, doing push-ups and sit-ups while maintaining the rhythm. The strobing lights just made it more challenging, like training with strobe goggles. Lieutenant Kresh's mandibles clicked nervously as he watched the display. "Sir, they're singing." "I can see that," Zixtal hissed. "What are those vocalizations? Some kind of defensive psionic chant?" "Unknown, sir, but their stress indicators are actually decreasing." Zixtal stared at the readouts. Impossible. The sensory bombardment should have driven them to complete psychological collapse. Instead, their heart rates were steady, their brain patterns showed signs of enjoyment. "Initiate the final protocol," he decided. Full psychological profile dismantlement. The chamber filled with a new horror, projections designed to manifest each prisoner's deepest fears and insecurities. The hegemony psychic engineers had perfected this technique over centuries, using quantum consciousness mapping to extract and amplify a subject's worst nightmares. But something strange happened. Instead of cowering in terror, the humans began pointing at the projections and laughing. "Oh man, that's supposed to be my fear of spiders?" Private Jackson chuckled at a holographic arachnid the size of a tank. "I've seen scarier stuff in basic training. Remember that drill instructor who looked like a potato with anger management issues? These aliens never met Drill Sergeant Thompson," agreed Sergeant Williams. "That man could make grown Marines cry just by looking at them funny." Santos nodded, appreciatively. "Thompson once made me do push-ups until I physically couldn't lift my own body weight, then made me do more. This?" She gestured at the swirling nightmare projections. "This is just Tuesday." The psychological profiles kept shifting, trying to find something, anything, that would break them. Childhood traumas, failed relationships, professional humiliations, existential dread about mortality. All of it paraded before them in high-definition horror. But every fear the aliens conjured seemed to bounce off these humans like rain off armor. They'd joke about the projections, critique the special effects, and somehow turn each nightmare into a shared bonding experience. "Sir," Kresh reported, his voice hollow with disbelief, "their cortisol levels are normal. Brain scans show camaraderie indicators are actually strengthening." Zixtal couldn't process what he was seeing. These creatures were treating the hegemony's most advanced psychological warfare as some kind of social activity. They were supposed to be broken, isolated, traumatized shells of their former selves. Instead, they seemed more united than when they'd started. "How is this possible?" he whispered. What Zixtal didn't understand was that every human military on Earth had independently discovered the same fundamental truth. The best way to forge unbreakable soldiers wasn't to protect them from hardship, but to deliberately subject them to controlled adversity. Make it so difficult that anything they encountered in actual combat would seem manageable by comparison. Sleep deprivation. They'd done 72-hour field exercises. Disorientation. They'd trained blindfolded in zero visibility. Psychological pressure. They'd survived drill instructors who could break down a recruit's entire sense of self and rebuild it stronger in a matter of weeks. The aliens had tried to torture them with a pale imitation of what humans voluntarily put themselves through, just to earn the right to wear a uniform. "Sir," Kresh said quietly, "I'm receiving reports from the other detention facilities. The humans in every sector are adapting. Some have started teaching other prisoners their resistance techniques." Zixtal's world began to crumble. If humans could not only resist their psychological warfare but actually thrive under it, what did that say about every other species the hegemony had conquered? What did that say about the hegemony itself? In the detention chamber, Santos was leading her people through another improvised training exercise when the doors suddenly hissed open. No guards appeared, just open doors and the sound of approaching. Footsteps, not hostile but hesitant. A small alien appeared, its 4 eyes wide with what might have been curiosity or fear. "Please," it said in heavily accented English, "teach us how you do this. We want to learn to be strong like you." Santos looked at her fellow prisoners, saw the same realization in their eyes. They weren't prisoners anymore. They were instructors. "All right then," she said, stepping forward with the confidence of someone who had survived the worst humanity could devise and found it merely challenging. Lesson 1. Embracing the suck. The galaxy was about to learn what humans meant by basic training.